Hey guys, Kev here, and I have a review to do for you. So we'll call this a review slash overview just because I've only had this a few days, and I haven't cut a house down with it or anything, but I think I've had enough experience with it to do the review, and I want to get it moving because part of doing these type of pass arounds for these pre-order type knives is to get exposure for the company, right? You want more channels to get a look at it, so that more eyeballs get on it and maybe they can help sell more, right? That's ultimately the goal. It's not my goal to sell these, but I do want people to succeed, and selling these knives will help people succeed. So anyway, this is the Knife Standards RR Standard, named after his dad. So Knife Standards has a YouTube channel and decided to come up with a knife design. He actually briefly, sorry, not briefly, he mentioned it in his note briefly. He had a conversation with his dad about designing a knife and bringing a knife to market because he reviews knives, and so we decided to go for it. And sadly, tragically, shortly after that, his father passed away, and I think that gave him even more, gumption and drive to want to get this knife out there, right? So he made it happen, and this knife is actually in production right now. They're set to be delivered in October. They are OEM by Best Tech Knives out of China. And they're actually on pre-order right now, so you can pre-order this knife and get it in October. That's pretty damn good. But it is in production, so it is funded already. It's just a matter of selling the pre-orders so he can obviously recoup those funds and get things moving. But I think that's cool because usually, like in my case, it's, prototypes, and then you got to sell those on a pre-order, and then you can place an order, and then you got to wait, right? So this is a little bit of a quicker timeline there. This is a really cool version of the knife. This is the milled version. There are going to be changes made to this version as well as all the versions. We'll go over that. I have a sheet here, and I do kind of want to read over the sheet with you guys just to be thorough. But first, I want to give my thoughts on it. And I don't know the guy from Knife Standards. I've chatted with him very briefly on Instagram. I reached out and just said, hey, dude, I'd love to take a look at the RR Standard. And he was like, hey, dude, I've seen the channel and would love to send you one. I was like, I'll pass it around and show some other channels. And he was like, yeah, that'd be great. So that was pretty much the conversation. We're not like, YouTube buddies or buddies in general. So I don't have some kind of, interest in this. And even if I did, I'd tell you guys what I thought. But I just want to put that out there. If you want sort of a quick and what do I think? I think I'm going to pick one up is what I think. I like it a lot. It has some features and things that aren't normally my style. It has some aesthetic things that aren't normally my style, but it's an overall unique design, an interesting design, and I mean that in a good way. Sometimes I say interesting when I don't like things. This is not where I'm going. It's actually interesting. And the more that I've carried and used and looked at and handled it, the more that I like it. And I think that's going to be the case with a lot of people. But the question's going to be, will we get there, right? Will everybody give it a shot? And I'm here to tell you, you should. I think you should give it a shot. If you're interested in the least and you're like, would I like that? Maybe try it. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So anyway, we have a dead center blade. We have a titanium handle. This is a frame lock. 3-piece construction of the backspacer here. It clearly says prototype. This is number 3 of 4. There you go. This one is in M390 steel. Let's see if I can show you. M390 steel, but the production is in MagnaCut, which is interesting. Yes, we'll talk about heat treat. There's the RR. And then on the spine here, it says ATR. I would venture to guess those are Knife Standards Those are his initials. I'm going to be honest right now, I don't know his name. So I've talked to him and on Instagram, and I've just always said Knife Standards. So I apologize sincerely for not knowing your name, dude. If you watch this, hey man, my name's Kev. Nice to meet you. So it does say Knife Standards inside the handle. I thought I had a good view on that earlier, but I guess I didn't. Let's see where it is. I'll show you. There it is. Knife Standards. I think that's pretty cool. A lot of people say, ooh, another YouTuber design, right? And I'm part of that. But to me, I say, yes, another YouTuber design. Because you know what it means when we design knives? It means you're getting what we want, right? Like when you design your first knife, a lot of times, here's the Jason Grant gripper designed by Jason Grant of Brass Brigade. Do I have any other ones that are YouTuber designed? I don't think I do, but another community, like a knife guy design, the Nimble, right? What you get in these sort of designs, here's a prototype of mine. This isn't going to be in production like this, but just to show you the Devo Knives Mash. What you get is a culmination of what a person values in a knife, right? And YouTubers handle a lot of goddamn knives. Collectors handle a lot of knives. So it is always cool to see what their first knife looks like, right? This isn't my first design, and this is a collaboration with Colin, obviously Devo Knives, but I just wanted a placeholder. Like this, EDC, again, not a YouTuber, and that's not the point. It's a community collector-driven design, essentially, right? He values fidget factor, right? You can see that clear as day. He's all about that fidgety factor, and he went for it on this one. He likes a finger choil, right? He clearly likes something on the smaller side, right? Because he went with this size from the get-go. He likes jimping. He likes jimping to be up onto the spine where you can actually utilize it. Those are all things, frag pattern, those are all things that we like in this community mostly, right? Jason Grant with the gripper, he loves the frag pattern. He also loves the tri-fidget system up here that John from EMP came up with. So he added that, right? He loves a pokey, stabby warning because he's a tactical type dude, right? He loves a thin, hollow grind. Again, loves that jimping. You can see these things in the designs. And when you look at the RR standard, it's the same exact thing, right? Do I see a little bit of inspiration? Yeah, I see a little bit of Chavez and J-Cape up here. I don't have a Chavez here right now anymore. I just sold mine, but you can see the J-Cape. You got that compound belt satin sort of style. And then down here, I don't know what I see down here. You know, maybe the Invictus design or whatever that one is from Terrain 365, but I think it's very unique down here in my opinion. I love how the handle is nice and thin. It's not chunky like a Chavez is. And I will say, when you look at this handle, which I think looks stunning, I think this is a stunning package when it's sitting like that. It just looks really cool. Somebody mentioned to me they thought it gave vibes of a D-Rocket design. I think his name's Daryl Costa, something like that. And I agree, it does kind of give those vibes when you look at this handle. And then you get that wire clip, so interesting. So getting into the review, aesthetics here, guys. I really like this knife when it's closed. I think it is a sexy beast. And then this milling pattern is just gorgeous. This is the Knife Standards milling pattern. Knife Standards standard milling pattern. Get it? Don't worry. If Nick Shabazz retires, I'll take over the puns. I'm just kidding. All right. Yeah, love the milling pattern. Love it when closed. Then you fire that blade out. And guys, we'll talk about it in action, but I mean fire. I'm not talking it just putters out. I'm talking it fires out, okay? Then you have a very interesting silhouette once it's open. Gonna tell you straight up, not my favorite. Don't love the silhouette open. And I think it's because the blade, I kind of wish it was sort of Tanto-y or more angular, because you look at an angular sort of handle and then you get like a more rounded blade. It's just a little bit different for me. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just a personal thing. A lot of people harp on the blade to handle ratio on this knife, and I originally thought the same thing. But once I got it in hand, I was like, nope, doesn't even bug me in the least. Look how close to the end of the handle this goes. It's crazy. Look at that. I've never seen a knife go that close, I don't think. You can see it like almost touching that backspacer. It's crazy. Now, the backspacer does wrap around, so, like, yeah, you're losing some handle there. Now, I don't know with the design of the blade. I can't even get it out, so got such a good detent. Maybe a little too much detent, but you can see there. Yeah, you definitely could have chopped some of this handle off, but maybe that was an ergonomic feature, or he wanted that coffin shape. I don't know. But anyway, he got enough of it in there that when it's open, I don't think it looks off. Not in person, honestly. I think you have 3.6 inches of blade. You do have a full forward finger choil here. Now, I am of the mindset that it's possibly unnecessary. I get a really good grip back here, and I think had the blade just come back as far as possible, I think it would have been fine. You would have had a lot of blade right there to use, right? Now, I always love a finger choil, so I'm not going to complain. I like it, and I still got plenty of blade length to work with, right? So it's not really an issue, but I could see somebody saying, well, you don't really need the choil, or, you know, the blade to handle looks off because of that or something. But to me personally, I like the choil. I'm fine with it. I always like a double choil like that. It's comfortable as long as the gap isn't too big, and it's not. It's very comfortable. You do have some jibbing right here. I mean, yeah, you can hold it back here, but if I'm going to be cutting something, I'm most likely going to climb up here because I have that choil. I can. So, you know, maybe some jimping here or no jimping at all, but I get it. It's more of an aesthetic thing, and it does work, you know. It's there. It's not a front flipper or anything. It's literally for jimping like this. In the back grip, it does work, though, pretty well. Yeah, so I guess we're talking about ergos, right? Again, comfortable back here, comfortable up here. You get into a pinch grip, it's comfortable. Now, getting into cutting, because I really don't have anything else to say about ergos other than they're good. I mean, the ergos are good on this knife. I enjoy them. Getting into cutting now, it's not my favorite blade shape. I love a sheep's foot at Warner. You guys know I harp on it all the time. I would obviously prefer something like this, you know, a Warncliffe type blade. Something with a lower tip. And this is more of a drop point. And it honestly does have a pretty raised up tip even for a drop point. Now we can cut some stuff here real quick. Sorry, that's definitely me. I'm hitting that choil, see? So if I get in the choil, boom. And that is why I will climb into the choil every time, because if I don't, I tend to do that and I get caught on the choil, right? But if you pay attention to what you're doing, you can easily use that. But I just tend to choke up. Now, I did cut some shipping labels with this, and I'm not going to lie, it was a little bit of a struggle bus because I had to get up like this to get to the tip. It's a bigger knife. Like, this is not a small knife, guys. We'll go over the specs, but I have to get up like this because there's a lot of belly up to the tip. You got to get up pretty high. And I struggled when I went to do the cut, and I had like 4 sheets of paper to cut. I kind of ended up like swerving over here, and it was hard to keep it on a straight line. So I wouldn't recommend this necessarily for that type of precision stuff or utility cutting, I guess, but I think it would be really good for most other things, you know, like you have enough tip here to penetrate a bag, to slice it open, whatever, and you have enough straight here that you're not just going to slip out of cuts like you would with, say, this is a knife I always think about when I think about slipping out of cuts, or the Oz Machine Company Roosevelt. With this, you get more straight before you get to that belly. I think it's just a little bit better in the sense that you just have a little more blade to work with, right? So, I mean, cutting, that's really all the experience I have. I opened a couple things and I cut a couple shipping labels. I didn't go crazy. But based on my experience with other knives, you know, the compound grind feels great. The flat up here is good. This hollow is really nice. Feels really thin behind the edge. They didn't go super thick on the stock, so it's not like a Chavez where it's like stout and then it has to come down to that hollow grind. No, this is already decent, and then you get that nice hollow grind. I think it's a good medium, guys. I think it's a great EDC blade, if you know what I mean. And this thing would put in work, in my opinion. Now, you guys know I'm not the put in work guy, right? So take what I say with a grain of salt, but I think this would be a good work knife, guys. Very comfortable in hand, as I stated. You do have a choil if you need to get up there to use it, and you get that compound grind. You get a thick enough blade and a thick enough grind that you can do work with it and not worry about, you know, rolling edges and stuff like that. You have this flat grind up here that's a little bit more stout out to the tip, and then you have that hollow grind back here when you need to, you know, cut through cardboard or things like that. I honestly think it's going to be a really good work knife. And it's going to be one of the first sort of OEM production knives in MagnaCut. So it'll be cool to test that out, right? So that's cutting. The carry, guys, is phenomenal. This clip is wonderful. So my first impression was, okay, cool knife. Let me check the... Oh, and I was like, wire clip. Interesting. And I wasn't like, oh, wire clip, damn, that's weird, right? No, I was like, that's odd, but awesome. I love a wire clip, and it's implemented really well here, guys, and it works exceptionally well. I really like the wire clip on this knife. In and out of pocket like a dream. For a heavier knife, because this is not light, guys. For a heavier knife, this thing carries really well. Now, it does, you do feel it in the pocket, though. I felt it, you know, weighing me down a little bit in my back left pocket today. You do have milling pockets on the inside here. So you have milling pockets there, and you have milling pockets there. But I guess it's just a big knife, and you're going to, you know, there's going to be some weight to it. Now, this one maybe weighs a little bit less than the standard ones because this has the milling on it. You know, that's extra weight relief. Not much, but hey. Yeah, going back to aesthetics real quick, you do have these Chicago screws on everything, and I love that. I think that looks so clean on this side. It's just beautiful, right? Love it. Love it, love it. So the carry's good, guys. I mean, look at the shape of the handle and everything. It just tucks away in your pocket. Again, you get a little bit of weight. But look at that! Freaking stands up. Not many knives just stand up, dude. That's pretty cool. That's a gram pick right there. I gotta get one of them for a gram right there. Boom. Oh, that's cool. All right. Anyway, that's carry. Sounds. Dude. I hope it comes through. You hear that? Try the lefty flick, which, by the way... Yeah, guys, the sound's off the flipping charts on this one. This guy is an 8 or a 9. Okay, it's not off the chart, but it's high on the chart. All right, let me get a sip of my Target seltzer. I got that Yuzu Mandarin. We were at Target, and I was like, ooh, Yuzu Mandarin, that's going to be good. My wife's like, you don't know what Yuzu Mandarin is? And I was like, you're right, but it sounds good. Just like this knife. Ooh, nailed it. All right, so I give it a 9 out of 10 on sounds, honestly. I love how this thing bangs out, guys. Action / fidget factor. What you're all here for. I'm just kidding. The D10 is it's a little too strong on this one. Now, the reason I say that is because my fingers have definitely, my thumbs have felt a little bit raw from this guy. Ow! And the lock bar feels a little, it doesn't necessarily feel stiff, but I think it's hindering the blade from falling a little better, right? Now, I did take this apart, I did clean it, and I did put skiffs in it, actually, and that did help, because it was really tight before, but I think that's because he had the pivot tightened down all the way, which is good, obviously, but I kind of tuned it up a little bit when I took it apart, And I mean, I got the action really smooth, but it's not like dropping or anything. And not every knife needs to drop, right, guys? It drops to your nail like that and shakes down. That's fine. But I do think the detent is a little heavy, even for me who likes stronger detents. But then again, people who like Chavez knives and stuff like that, you might love this because it's heavier. So would it bother me if it stayed like this? I don't think so. I think I'd ultimately be like, you know, I'd just get used to it. I'd man up, so to speak. So, but it is a little strong, and I think that would help the action if you dialed down the detent just a touch. Now, I'm talking just a touch. Don't go too far, right? You can thumb flick it right-handed like a dream. These studs are in a good spot. The way everything lines up, I mean, you just get so much leverage to fire that out. It's incredible, honestly, how much leverage you get and just flies out of there. Reverse flick right-handed, very natural. A lot of times the reverse flick right-handed is awkward for me because, I don't know, I guess I just don't get right underneath the stud or whatever, but the size of the handle for me, large glove size hand, here you go, large glove size hand, I just get right under there. I mean, it's just so easy to get under there and fire it. And then left-handed, thumb flick is butter. I mean, you just get right on that stud, fire it out. No issues locking anything up, nothing like that. Left-hand reverse flick, honestly, I thought you couldn't do. I think the pivot's walking. Hold on. That is one thing I want to note. This pivot has been the bane of my existence. Yep. I cannot get this thing to just stay put. I've tried Loctite. I've tried everything. Nothing will work. I don't know why. I've had that issue with Bestex before, and I think it's the like ultra satin hardware. I think it just doesn't take anything. With my Axon, what I ultimately had to do was like crank it down like crazy. But that still drops shut. This is cranked down and it gets a little bit tight. So that's definitely some feedback on the prototype. I wouldn't worry about that, guys. This is why you send around prototypes. He can mention all this stuff. I'm sure he already has. We'll read through that in a second. But anyway, yeah, I didn't think you could lefty flick it. But you can. It's actually real easy. I was doing this, like just trying to get it. If you just get down a little bit, you can fire it out real easy, honestly. I've had not much problem. And if the detent gets just a tiny bit lighter, it's going to be even easier to do. So it does work left-handed. It's not like super intuitive or anything. So, you know, left abilities, maybe a 5 out of 10 on this guy. But yeah, guys, it's awesome. I really like it. I think I'm going to pick one up. I mean, as far as I can go on a review is tell you if I would buy one, right? I'm like 90% sure I'm going to buy one. I'm just like super tapped right now because I've been buying everything left and right, and this kind of came out of nowhere for me. I didn't even know it existed like a week or two ago until I saw it, I think, on Jim Skelton's channel. So shout out to Jim. But I want one. That's how it's unique to me. It's different. It's something new and fresh, and I like that, right? So let's read through this stuff, and I'll get you guys out of here, right? So I think we read the intro when no, because I don't know if I unboxed it. I don't think I did, actually. Anyway, let's read it real fast. Hey, Cab. Thanks so much for taking the time to check out my prototype. This is the RR Standard. It's my first design, inspired by and dedicated to my dad. A little over a year ago, my dad and I were talking knives and discussing my reviews of other people's knives. When I showed him my rough sketch of a design, he told me to stop worrying about other people's knives and that soon I would have my own knives to sell. I had no idea how to have a knife produced or that it was even possible at the time. Tragically, my dad passed away a few weeks after we had this conversation. I made it my mission to make this sketch a reality. A year of consistent work and obsessing and many, many more sketches led me to the RR Standard, named after my dad. Production has started. Delivery is set for early October. There's 3 versions. So you have a standard version, which is standard plain, probably raw tie with, you know, I would venture to guess a stonewash or belt satin. And then you have a blackout, which is going to be all DLC. And then you have this one, which is milled. There is a difference in production. It's going to look like this, but all the hardware is going to be DLC or blacked out, which is cool. And I think that might help this pivot issue with the Loctite. The pre-order is open, and the pre-order discounted price is $365. Regular price will be $385 once they come in. Here's some specs. So here we go, guys. We're talking CPM-MagnaCut. This prototype is M390. Again, it's going to be MagnaCut. 3.6-inch blade, 0.14 stock. It is a hollow/flat compound grind, hand ground belt satin, 6 ALV, 4 titanium handle, 4.54 handle length. Handle height is 1.18. That's going to be this 1.18. Handle width is going to be 0.49. I love that. Overall length 8.01, so an 8-inch knife. Frame lock. You have a T8 captive pivot. You have T8 hardware. Now this screw is T6. So I think the clip is too. I think they just screwed that up in on the prototype, but we'll find out if he mentions that. Bearings are ceramic. detent is ceramic. It is 5.07 ounces. I believe that. It is a little bit weighty. The designer's ATR, and I don't know what the initials stand for. It just says me and manufacturing partner is Best Tech. We have the features, which we kind of just talked about. Bead blast, DLC, internal milling. All T8 hardware, so it is changing to T8. Captive pivot, sterile show side, sterile show side, which I love. I really, really love that. With tooling on clip side only. I do wish the clip was reversible. I know you guys would hate that, and it would ruin the aesthetic on this one, so I get it. It just would be cool for me. Dual thumb studs, lock bar insert, ceramic ball, Each standard will be numbered. That's cool. The knives will be shipped exactly as you are receiving this one in a protective hard case that is water resistant. I feel like maybe I did unbox this, so I apologize if I'm doing this twice, but here you go. That's how it will ship, just like that. Ugh. I don't know if there's stickers. Yep, stickers, stuff like that under there. I put the bearings under there because I swapped them. And if anybody's wondering, it fits 5mm 1/16 bearings, okay? So if you're going to order bearings for it, 5mm 1/16, the normal ones from Skiff. Here are the changes. So all T8 hardware, like I said, this is a T6, and this is, maybe just this one's a T6. I think this is actually a T8, and that's the only one that's T6. But anyway, all T8. Rounded low-profile clip side body screws. Okay, so they're going to make these screws sit more flush. You can see how that screw sticks up a little. I did wonder that. So that's cool. Max blade height will be 27mm. So I don't know exactly this height. I don't know. Slight reduction to clip side lock bar access. Okay. And slight adjustment to thumb stud placement. Okay, so I think they're going to reduction to clip side lock bar access. I don't know. I think that means they're going to make this smaller, right? That would be weird. But and they're moving the thumb studs a little bit. Okay. Hand ground MagnaCut blade instead of M390. And the stone milled, that's this one, version will have DLC hardware and DLC backspacer. Love that change, dude. Thank you, Kev. And of course, let me know if you have any questions. And then here's his email. So, guys, hit him up if you have any questions. info@knifestandards.com. You can also find him on Instagram @knifestandards. And then he has his YouTube review channel, of course, Knife Standards. Go check him out. Give him a follow, guys. Everything helps. And check out the website. If he has a mailing list, I suggest signing up for that as well. And if you want to pick one up, pick one up. So there it is, guys. That is the Knife Standards RR Standard. A beautiful story born from a love between a son and a father, and a tragic passing, and he's crossing the finish line. You got RR for his dad, and you got ATR. Right, ATR for him. So it makes this knife special. Maybe that's part of why I want one as well. Like, I feel some connection to the story. You know, I know most people probably don't buy knives for shit like that, but if a knife has a cool story and it's a good knife, sign me the fuck up. And that's how I feel about this one, guys. This one's really cool. I love the flick. Again, I think dial that lock bar pressure down just a little bit, and it'll be on point. I want to say thank you to Knife Standards, ATR. Thank you for letting me check this out. Truly appreciate that. And I'm going to get this off to the next reviewer, and we'll get the ball rolling. Hopefully get some exposure out there. If you guys like this design, please let me know down in the comments. If you have any critiques or anything, let them know down in the comments. Obviously, be civil, guys. I can tell you right away, this is a polarizing design. There's going to be plenty of people that just don't get it, right? And it's just like Chavez knives or shit like that, the Jaeger. Like, some people are just like, nope, they just don't get it, right? But then there's going to be people like me who are like, yeah. You know what I mean? So it's just a matter of taste. But if it's for you, I can tell you it's a good knife. It's well built. I'm impressed with Bestex builds, man. This, honestly, you could have fooled me and told me this was a Riot. I don't really know where I would point to say it's not. You know what I mean? Maybe that pivot thing, but I mean, all my Jaegers walk, so I don't really, So anyway, RR Standard. Cool knife. Love it. Hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will catch you later.